So we are going to start with improper fractions and mixed numbers. As you can see, this is a little bit different than what we've done before. This should be a little bit easier for us to read as we're going forward here. So make sure that you get your paper titled. Tonight's date is 1/29/14. Our title is Improper Fractions and Mixed Numbers, and there's some vocabulary. Now again, this is going to go a little bit quicker so the video seems shorter. You're going to need to pause it to copy these things down. So vocabulary is going to be your improper fraction is a fraction with a numerator greater than the denominator. And what that means is that it's going to look a little bit something like 7/4 or 9/5 or 16/3. Right? That in every one of those examples, the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay. A mixed number is going to be a mixed number or a whole number with a fraction attached. So it'll be like 3 1/3, 4 1/5, 6 7/8. Okay. Again, I apologize for writing like this, but it's kind of how it works. So anyway, so make sure that you're getting all those copied down as your examples. And again, you don't need to write them as big. I'm just doing it that way. So, how do you change an improper fraction to a mixed number? So what you're going to do is you'll take the numerator divided by the denominator, and that's going to give you your whole number of your mixed number. Your remainder becomes your numerator. So let's just put an example down of our improper fraction of 7/4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 7 divided by 4, and in this case our numerator goes on the outside, our denominator goes on the inside. Oh, I take that back. We got to flip-flop those. So cross that off. Should be denominator on the outside, numerator on the inside. So then what I have here is I have 4 on the outside, 7 on the inside. Okay, so how many times does 4 go into 7? 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract and I get 3. So I get 1 with a remainder of 3. And now I know that I told you remainders were going away forever. We're not completely finishing this problem. So, like it says here, I found out my whole number here by clicking or dividing 7 divided by 4. So how many groups do we have there? So I have 1 is my whole number, my remainder is 3, and my denominator stays the same, 4. So I have 1 3/4. Alright, so make sure you cross that off. Denominator on the outside, numerator on the inside. Same way we did there. Alright, so we're skipping a page. We're going to do a few examples together. So if I have the fraction 9/5, how am I going to do that? Well, remember that that's going to turn into 9 divided by 5, and this is my dividend right here, and this is my divisor. Okay, so we can get rid of those. So my dividend goes on the dividend side, so 5 on the outside, 9 on the inside, right? And we know that 5 goes into 9 one time with 5, and I get a remainder of 4. So 1 remainder 4 becomes a mixed number of 1 4/5. Now the easy way I remembered when I was doing this, when I was your age, when I learned about what number goes on the inside and what number goes on the outside of my division problem, is if I have 9/5 here, I always imagined that 9/5 got tipped over, and if 5's on the bottom and 9's on the top, it's going to go that way. So then it turns into, and then this line even turns with it. So 5 would be on the outside, 9 would fall down from there and be on the inside. So 5 always goes into 9. Again, making sure you're slowing down to write this down, copy this down as you go. So let's do 8/3. So that becomes my division problem of 8 divided by 3. So then 3 is on the outside and 8 is on the inside. And much like our division problems we talked about, 8 is what I have, 3 is how many groups I have. So if I have $8 for 3 people, obviously everybody's going to get more than $1, so I should have a whole number here. So how many 3s are there in 8? 2. Sorry about that. 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. So I get 2, remainder 2, which turns into my whole number 2. My remainder becomes my new numerator, 2, and my denominator stays the same, 2/3. Alright. So I'm going to put 1 on here that I want you to do, or that we'll do together, and then I'm going to give you some practice towards the end. So we'll do 9/6. Okay. So then we know that turns into 9 divided by 6, 6 on the outside, 9 on the inside. Now, I know that 6 goes into 9 once. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract, and I get 3. So I get 1 remainder 3. So now I have a mixed number of 1, 3, 6. But what do you notice about this fraction right there, 3/6? You're right, it's not completely reduced. So then I can reduce mixed numbers. So I keep my whole number the same, 1, and then I reduce my fractions, each divided by 3, and that turns into 1 and 1/2. Alright, so now we know how to go from improper fractions to mixed numbers, but how do I go from mixed numbers to improper fractions? Well, first thing you're going to do is you're going to multiply your whole number by your denominator, then add the numerator. Let's get rid of and there. So let's change that and to then. Because our order of operations always tells us that we multiply first, then add anyway. So wrong word there, now we got the right one. So we're going to multiply the whole number by the denominator, then add the numerator. And we're going to put all of that whole answer from number 1 above the original denominator. So what that means is that if I take, let's switch up our colors. Let's go green. So my original mixed number is 3 1/3. Well, it tells me to put my whole number, 3, so whole number is red. So I put my whole number there, times my denominator, so times my denominator is blue, times the denominator, so 3 times 3, plus the numerator, which is 1, so plus 1, gives me, and then I'm going to put that all over 3, because that's my original denominator. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, and then my original denominator is 3. Alright, so we got 10/3. So let's check and make sure that that's right. So we go back to our original way of 3 1/3 should be 10/3. So I take 10 over 3, turns into 10 divided by 3. 3 on the outside, 10 on the inside. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. So 3 remainder 1, which turns into 3 is my whole number right here. Whole number, whole number. My 1 is my remainder, becomes my numerator, and my original denominator becomes my same denominator. Notice the denominators are not changing too much. So 10/3 does turn into 3 1/3. So we went from improper fraction here to mixed number, and on this page here, we went from mixed number to improper fraction. So we're able to navigate that back and forth. They're kind of like equivalent fractions. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to do 2 more quick ones together. Again, pause, get everything you see written down here. Listen, because sometimes my 3s and 8s and stuff like that are hard to read, so make sure you're doing that. So let's convert 4 2/5 into an improper fraction. So remember, my whole number times my denominator plus my numerator goes on top. So my whole number is 4 times my denominator is 5 plus my numerator all over the original denominator. So 4 times 5 is 20 plus 2 is 22 all over my original denominator is 5. Okay. And one last one, and I'm going to give you guys a couple practice to do tonight on your own. Make sure you bring those in. Now, do your best. If you can't get to practice, that's fine. So let's convert 6 3/4 to an improper fraction. So then I'm taking my whole number times my denominator plus my numerator. Okay. Making sure my order of operations here is always solid, because 6 times 4 plus 3 is 27. If I add first, right, 4 plus 3 is 7, times 6 is 42. That is not going to give me the same answer, and they will not reduce that way. Keep my denominator the same, 27/4. Alright, so I'm going to give you one of each. I want you to convert them. Make sure you're checking your answers. So the improper fraction that I want you to find the mixed number of is going to be 11/4. And the mixed number that I want you to find is going to be 2 7/8. So your job here is to give me the mixed number. And your job here is to find the improper fraction. To practice to do on your own. You will spend some time working on this with me in class tomorrow. Good luck.